So, you still there, Tom? Shit, bro. I can't hear you. Yeah, dude. It's fascinating and it's a scary, 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 scary time. We have so many fucking things just waiting in the gallery to take us down, dude. Elon Musk, every time he flips a coin, he's talking about how AI is going to destroy the fucking planet. Climate change is going to leave us, burnt and waterlogged and unable to live on, dry land within the next 40 years. Economic collapse is very quickly coming up to the precipice. And we're just not doing anything about it because we don't know how. We're not working as a tribe. We're not working as a community. And people have been trying for so long to make something like that happen. And I doubt very seriously that my point of view on this is worth a shit, but I think personally that civilization was kind of fucked from the get-go. And until we understand why we stopped, following the migration of animals for 450,000 years to just set up shop in the middle of the Fertile Crescent and start, growing wheat. I mean, it's ridiculous. There had to have been an impetus for something like that to happen. And it's not our human ingenuity because that's not how humans operate. Something happened. And man, if we could just figure out what that something is, we could track it all back and maybe make some changes to this world that could have a lasting impact. Tom, are you still there? That's so weird, bro. Wait, hang on. Oh, I heard something. Fuck, I heard something, bro. Right, yeah, I heard you.
I don't know what the hell just happened. It was working perfectly fine when I first entered, and then just kind of fucked up after I hit that wrong thing.
Fucking is what it is, dude. It fucking is what it is. I'm glad you're still with me, dude.
No. What you've been saying so far has been very interesting. As far as what you said with humanity and going back in time, trying to fix shit. I don't know. I don't really think there's anything we could do as a whole, human whole, that we could do to really make anything last, because eventually time will always erase everything. Time is a definite thing. Time is for sure. Even though it's an illusion, time is an illusion. And it's made by humans, because every single organic thing goes on its own time. But is it really going to last? Shit. We're over here already thinking about colonizing. I think. Right. Colonizing Mars. And
what the fuck?
And that's fucking already insane to me, because it's like, alright, how we learn nothing for media? Come on, man. These fucking movies that we have out, stupid video games we got out. Like, come on now. Did we not learn anything from this?
Absurd. It's absurd, dude. It's absurd. It's almost as if they're acting upon knowledge that none of the rest of us have. There was what did I read recently? I'm a big conspiracy theory buff, and not because I necessarily believe in the conspiracy theories, but as I said before, I'm an artist, and the thing that inspires me most is wonder, right? And you just can't, it's a fucking valuable commodity. However, you can get on websites like Above Top Secret and my personal favorite, Bibliotheca Pleiades. I'll write that down for you. And just read these fucking weird theories about bizarre things. And it changes just for a split second the way you look at the world. And in that second, you have an angle on something that nobody else has, because you're the only person with your own personal experiences. I guarantee you, even if you and me were best friends or brothers and we grew up together, you would still have your own perspective. And if you read that article and I read that article, we would paint two totally different pictures or write two totally different stories. And I think, yeah, I'm just a big fan of that, man. I'm a big
Oh
fan.
yeah, definitely. That makes sense.
Yeah, you were talking about time earlier, man. I don't think, uh, I don't think that our ancestors were too worried about time. I think they were worried about eating, making art in caves, and fucking, and eating, and hunting, and teaching their
Honestly, I've
children.
thought about that a couple of times, and I'm like wondering to myself, I wonder what else, other than what you're describing right now, all the topics and such. I wonder what other things they had in mind. Like, were they just that primitive that they only thought about these things? Like, did they have thoughts? Was there a point in their minds where they started? I mean, I'm sure because I mean, look at what we've got now. We're literally speaking to each other with language, with
Right.
but like, did they have that? Like, what the heck did they have?
So they had
Like,
all of the same things that we had.
like were they clicking, like making noise?
No, no, no. They were speaking. They had their own language. They had art. They could communicate ideas. They were using tools. And in fact, anthropologists nowadays are kind of scratching their heads because they assumed that prior to the agricultural revolution, which was, 10,000 BCE, suddenly these Neolithic peoples decided to just stop hunting animals and start putting down roots in the Fertile Crescent. And they thought maybe something happened, some sort of an extra part of their brain group, or they just stopped being savages. So my opinion is that what grows in the Fertile Crescent? Wheat. What else? We're talking about Iraq, Afghanistan, Turkey. What grows there?
Um, wouldn't that be like the land of the spices?
Sort of. It's the Middle East, right? So, well, now, and especially back then, wheat and the heroin poppy.
Oh
So what
yeah,
I believe happened is that the men were hunting the animals while the women stayed behind with their baskets gathering fruits and berries. They ground these opium poppies, and some of the tribe became addicted, and they decided to stay with the drugs rather than continue migrating with the animals. That's why the very first structures built by man weren't ziggurats or temples. They were gardens, walled off gardens to protect their drugs from other people.
right.
And, they hired people to protect those gardens, and those people became warlords, and those warlords became kings. Those kings decided to trade with other kings, and economics was born in its kind of infant stages. I believe everything came from the fact that some of us were addicted, and we did the only thing that an addict knows how to do, and that's just get more drugs. Not the entire tribe, obviously, but enough to stay behind and realize that if you plant these things, they'll grow, and if you plant other things, they'll grow. Rather than chase animals, you could just fence them up. And if you don't have anything to eat, you can always make war on the other addict party.
What you're describing right now sounds the present modern day. Like what? If it's true what you're saying, like if this is a, like, because I know we're just spitballing here, but
Yeah.
like you said, you believe this stuff.
I'm convinced that it's just nothing else to describe. I mean, think of humanity. We're not noble. I mean, we can be, but in nature, we're fucking animals, right? And
Right.
what happens to a mouse if you give it fucking cocaine and a red button? It's just gonna keep pushing the fucking red button. How are we any different? So I think that we were just the same way we are now, right? Before
Right.
opium, and after opium, we were forced to create a civilization. And, that civilization, of course, eventually birthed people who weren't addicted to opiates. But that's the only thing that they knew from birth is a civilization with laws and rules and kings. And uh, it's just kind of snowballed